So this is going to be me talking about Secret Invasion. It's the newest MCU Disney Plus show. People haven't liked it. I didn't like it either, especially with the finale. That's when people were like, "Yeah, this is trash." Yeah, that finale, it really sucks. The pacing is really slow to where people take forever to give dialogue at times. But then by the end of it, it's like, okay, we gotta hurry up and get this over with, right? Whatever plot lines we still got, wrap them up. Because that's the way it feels like by the end. And with that ridiculous fucking fight, we'll get to it. But yeah, the show is dealing with a popular storyline. I'm familiar. I haven't read it with Secret Invasion, but for whatever reason, this is a show instead of a movie, right? Most of the groundwork that you set for this, not enough, was in Captain Marvel, which was a movie. So it does kind of feel weird, and it feels a lot smaller, and the production design and things like that is good, but it should be a movie. You start off with this agent whose performance isn't very good. The Skrulls, talking to Agent Ross, Martin Freeman's character, and he turns out to be a Skrull. There's a fight scene with them and things like that. He ends up dying, and they find out that he's a Skrull, which I'm not sure how that goes with like Black Panther too. Like he was in that and things like that, right? Because the real him is in the bunker set up with that mind thing from Captain Marvel, because that's where they keep them so they can look through their memories and things like that, so they can fully, impersonate them. But whatever, Maria Hill shows up, Talos, once again played by Ben Mendelsohn, and then Nick Fury comes down from the spaceship doing whatever the fuck. I guess he's getting ready some defense thing. He comes down, Nick Fury, because he feels responsible for all this, because he was the one who promised to give the Skrulls their planet, and he didn't, which is why Gravik, who's the leader of the Skrulls that want to take him out, played by Kingsley Benadir. And that's why he's leading them to do all this. He wants to start wars amongst the countries, hopefully nuclear war, because they're immune to nuclear radiation. And they would just, take ownership of the planet after the humans have all wiped each other out. So yeah, Nick Fury feels responsible, so he comes down to take care of it. I like his interactions with Talos and things like that, but there's a lot of exposition involved because there's so much history there that we didn't get to see. But whatever. There's a major reoccurring thing in this where everybody says you're old, you're slow, you're not the same Nick Fury anymore. I mean, it is constant.
But after the blip, you were different.
See, that's what I'm worried about. The Fury I knew was always 3 steps ahead.
I think Thanos' snap changed you. Taught you that no matter how hard you fight for what's right, there's always someone stronger to undermine you.
But it feels like lip service, because he does kind of seem similar, right? Like he's I guess supposed to be depressed or whatever after the blip, and that's why he went up in the space station. He has a Skrull wife in this that we find out about, and I guess he just didn't care to be with his wife after the blip or anything. He just goes up into a space station. Whatever. She's very tolerant, I guess, because she's just happy to be loved by him, even though she's a Skrull. Or it's their romance, their relationship, I don't think it's written as well, but they do have a lot of chemistry. I did like that storyline for the most part. But he doesn't seem all that different. He's still kind of, even though he seems sad at times, he's still saying certain like funny lines and certain, wisecracks and things like that. So it's like, it feels like it's mostly words. And for it to be so much of the show, it doesn't have that much impact. Talos, his daughter, is one of the people working with Gravik, and that side of the anti-human like Skrulls and all that. That's played by Emilia Clarke. Her name was Gaia, and Talos is trying to get her to give information to him and things like that. Talos is really going up against Gravik, but he ends up blowing up that place, which obviously causes problems with the UN and things like that. And he also shoots Maria Hill, and she seems to be dead permanently. While disguising himself as Nick Fury. And so that ends up being used, that video ends up being used against him later on and things like that. But Nick actually finds out from Talos that I believe it was 1 million Skrulls have come down to Earth and integrated in society, and he didn't even know about it.
Wait. You're telling me there's 1 million Skrulls walking amongst us right now? Have you lost your reptilian-ass mind?
Yeah, Talos, he represents the Skrulls that want to stay on Earth and just don't even want a new planet at this point. They want everybody to know about them and things like that. And obviously Gravik is on the opposite side of things. But Nick Fury is like, there's not enough room or tolerance here for you guys, so you still got to find a planet. Even though I haven't been trying to find you one, I've just been fucking around on a space station. But I thought that was kind of weird because I was like, well, tolerance makes sense, right? These are shapeshifters and things, especially with all the shit that they're doing, right? Like, obviously, humans would not trust them at this point. Automatically wouldn't trust them, but especially after all this. But he says there's not enough room for them. It's like, well, there's a million of them already here. You didn't even know about it. Also, I'm sure he knows that the Asgardians are here, right? The people from Asgard, they have new Asgard. And, they've become like a tourist attraction and things like that. They've been, fully integrated for the most part, right? People have accepted that they're here and they're staying on Earth with us. So that felt odd. I'm sure he knows about them. But whatever, that did kind of throw me off. There's this really tense and pretty good operation that they go on to stop this. I think it was like a missile strike or something. The Skrull is pretending to be the guy with the codes, and they couldn't get the codes out of him to abort it, so they have to rely on Emilia Clarke, Gaia, and it goes down to the last second to abort it once they get the codes from the guy's memories. And then Emilia Clarke and Gaia gets shot by Gravik. I mean, this is a pacing issue and a writing issue. It is so obvious that Emilia Clarke is betraying Gravik, and the idea that he takes so long to do something about it is nonsense. But he ends up shooting her, but she survives because he and her, they're already Super Skrulls, right? From the comics, I believe the Super Skrull has the powers of the Fantastic Four. In this, they have a contraption and some doctors or whatever, scientists, whatever it is, and they can use it to turn into Super Skrulls. Basically, they get the powers and abilities of other MCU characters. Like, they have like tree powers from like Groot, I guess, and I think they have the extremist powers too from Iron Man 3. Gravik at some point got them, but Emilia Clarke got them right before because she knew if she got caught, she was gonna get killed. So she ends up surviving, and now she has the same powers as him, pretty much. The exposition is really a problem here, where it feels like so much of it has to be explained because you didn't lay enough groundwork in between this and the last time we saw the Skrulls, right? Like maybe them going on an operation or something, and them realizing that, hey, we don't really trust this guy. He doesn't seem to really be trying to help us, right? He just seems like he's using us or something like that. We get certain flashbacks and things of Gravik first meeting Nick Fury. And the aging is really good too. First meeting Nick Fury as a kid, his parents died and he was able to get to Earth on his own. And so, it shows that he's resilient already, like setting up him being the leader of the Skrulls at this point. But there's so much heavy lifting that the exposition has to do because you just weren't able to develop enough, and you don't have enough time to do it in here for it to fully have an impact with this shit. There's not enough there.
Every terror attack you prevented, we did that. Every enemy you sabotaged, an ally you leveraged with dirt no one else in the world had access to, we did that.
Rhodey, Don Cheadle, who's really good in this, turns out to be a Skrull, right? He fires Nick Fury over the whole bombing incident that happened early on and things like that. He's very obviously a Skrull, and Nick Fury knows. But he can't do anything about it because he's blackmailing him with the video of him, well, not him, but Gravik as him killing Maria Hill, which are some really good scenes. They're really leaning into, their race in these, which they've never really done up to this point. So it is a little bit off, but those are some really good scenes. Those interactions between the two, them going back and forth. But it is undercut because there's another character, Olivia Colman plays her, Sonya. She's the head of the SIS. Complete badass, right? She has this kind of charming, like almost happy personality while also torturing people and shooting people and things like that. I liked her. I thought she was fun, even though she was kind of tonally off. But she does everything so easy. Right? She feels like she has her own separate show going on. It's kind of like 3 separate shows. One with Sonya, one with Nick, and one with Gaia, Emilia Clarke's character. But Sonya is just doing everything so simple. And like there's this one scene that really got to me because she goes up to this guy and goes in his office, shoots him in the arm and reveals him as a Skrull in front of his security. And I'm thinking, Well, why couldn't Nick Fury have done that with Rhodey, right? One of the main things that keeps him from revealing him isn't just because of the blackmail, but also because he has his security there and they have guns on him and things like that. It's like, if you're able to shoot them in the arm and reveal them, well, couldn't he just do that right now? And the security guys would see it, and we'd have proof right there. I mean, he could really just kill him, right? And that way he would have proof that the Skrulls are doing this, and that would be, that would hopefully exonerate him in the Maria Hill death. But no. So the character of Sonya really does undercut a lot of this. The president gets attacked, Talos gets killed, and also gets revealed, I guess, to the public as a result of that. And Gravik really wants, I forgot what it was, the Harvest? I think that's what it was called. And basically it's just the DNA of a bunch of the Avengers, the ones that spilled blood during the fight in Endgame. He ends up getting like Mantis and Captain Marvel and some other characters' powers, which I highly doubt that Captain Marvel bled at any point during that fight, but okay. So Sonya takes Nick Fury to go get the vial that has like the other DNA in it, and the idea is he's gonna, I guess, bring it to Gravik and give it to him as long as he'll promise to leave. But they get in the area of the machine. Nick Fury is in the machine, and so is Gravik, and Gravik turns it on with Nick Fury still being in there. And I guess the idea is either it won't work or it'll kill him because he's not a Skrull. But it turns out to be Gaia, Emilia Clarke. And so they both end up getting powers from from Captain Marvel and some of the other characters. And they have this shitty ass CGI fight. I haven't said the CGI has been terrible throughout the show. It's been really bad. Like the bark from the, I guess, Groot powers and things like that. It's never looked good. The Skrull transformations don't look good. I didn't think they looked good in Captain Marvel. But this fight scene is embarrassing. They're just hitting each other and things like that. They can heal and things. So it's like, at what point can any of them kill each other and how? It's just, it's a mess. It's nonsense. And while this is happening, I guess Nick Fury trusted Gaia to do all of this. And he's there with the president, Rhodey, and things like that. This is the lead of the show, and his climactic thing is just taking out fake Rhodey, and that's it. And just leaving Gravik after all this buildup between the two, just leaving it to Gaia because she's getting revenge for him killing her mother, which never really gets explained. It's bad, right? It feels rushed. It feels like, okay, let's just get this shit over with, right? Nick Fury's got to get back up on that space station, and after killing Gravik, I guess Gaia's gonna help Sonya do something. I don't know what it is. They're setting up something, a show or movie. Who cares? They're always setting up something. And yeah, there's still some back and forth going on with him and his wife. Whether he loves her even as a Skrull or whatever. And I guess she goes on the ship with him to go back up to the space station. I guess. So will she be in the Marvels? I guess. But yeah, it was such a lame fight, such a lame finale. Doesn't really feel like much happened in it, really. And yeah, the climactic thing with Rhodey was kind of tense. Well, fake Rhodey was kind of tense, but whatever. That's it. The finale was lame. There's some good stuff in here that I've already kind of touched on. It's a good-looking show and some good fight scenes and things like that, and some interesting concepts. Nick Fury and his wife and things like that. But like, it's poorly written and it's frustrating, right? And the tone and the pacing, it's just all off. It's all off. It does feel like they were like, oh, well, we announced this, so we got to do it, even if we don't really fully know what we're doing. And it feels so small based on what it is. I mean, it really does feel like Nick Fury just had like a side adventure for a little bit and then just went right back up in that space station for the Marvels. It's not good. It's really not good. I wasn't expecting, I guess, that much, but I was pretty disappointed by it by the end. I mean, it really does just nosedive at the end. I know people who were like somewhat into it, and then with like the last like two episodes, but especially the last episode, they're like, it goes from them liking it to it being trash. So yeah, this is, I think the worst show, MCU show that at least I've seen. But whatever, that's it. That's Secret Invasion. I didn't like it. I don't think it's good. Subscribe, and we're done.